is about a little bit of a journey that you've been on, right? Just shed some light on that.
Yeah, so it's basically the journey that I've been on for the past couple of years. I went through just a rocky point emotionally, and basically this writing process was how I was able to find myself again. It was like my way of dealing with emotions that I didn't even know how to deal with before because it was too much for me to handle. And so basically through this writing process, I felt like for the first time I was communicating with myself, and I was, I was being vulnerable and honest with myself and open with myself. And, through that process, I felt like I just found my sanity again and found myself again. And I've always I had always kind of done that through songwriting. Like even while we were on tour, I would always like write on my days off. And it was always like, whether it was, I have like a song that I did about my first kiss, my first heartbreak, about everything. And it was always my way of, it was just like very therapeutic for me. And so while I was going through that point, that rocky point, I had stopped writing basically for like 6 months. And so that just, I knew that I was out of touch with my emotions. And so basically when I started writing about it again, I was all of a sudden like home. I came home to myself again. Like that song actually specifically isn't about like a boy. Like it's not like a breakup with a boy. It's more about just like more about like a friendship. It's more about, but I feel like in general, like with breakups and with everything, there's definitely a point where you wake up and you're just like, I don't really, you know what I mean? Like this doesn't hurt me as much as it used to anymore. And that's such a good feeling. You're like,
you're over.
Yeah.
Brand new year.
Who is single? Who is taken?
I knew this was gonna happen.
I know, it always happens and you guys get really upset every time. Let's just say...
Just kidding. No,
no.
it's fine.
Okay, are you taken?
Huh?
Are you taken? Yes or no? Real quick, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes or no?
5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, just look in my eye. Blink once if it's yes. Blink no if it's twice. No one sees.
Blink no if it's not.
Wait, sorry.
Girl.
Okay, that's good. That's what I normally ask as well. Okay, fine. If you don't want to answer that question, which I didn't think you would anyways, but thanks for playing along. Let's just say you can all...
The emotion that you were feeling, what were those emotions?
I mean, you'll hear it in the first song that you'll hear, which is the first song in the video, is called I Have Questions, and it just basically explains, I was just going through a relationship that was not good for me.
So you were sad? You were hurt?
I just felt like hopeless. Time that Charlie and I wrote together, that song is actually going to be on the album. It's called Scar Tissue.
Yeah.
And I think there's also something for me about writing with girls and girl energy. I just feel like we just kind of understand each other more, if that makes sense. Like I'm less afraid with girls to be just super emotional.
It's almost being respectful to other people's feelings, because maybe, and I'm not saying, because I know that Lauren's been writing, other people are doing their thing, and we're starting to see them all start to evolve in their own way. But at that moment in time, you're in the eye of a very different storm. I mean, you talked about it. It's come from a manufactured television show which is designed to make something big very quickly. Now, what you do with that opportunity is your life.
Exactly.
But at that moment in time, whilst you're under contract, it's your life with, conditions. And you've got to be kind of respectful, right, of other people's feelings.
other words, sound check. You put the sound on the check was sound. You put the check on your neck was check. You put the lips a little peck on check. And you go kiss, kiss, respect. What's up?
Who inspired you in writing this song in the dark? Is it self-experience? Because the lyrics are no joke.
Yeah. Well, I wrote In the Dark after a Grammy party last year, and so basically the song was kind of like me kind of making an observation, like on the outside looking in, about somebody that I met and that I was kind of having this, like, you know, this flirtationship with, and it was like a, you know, it was like a famous guy, and I was just kind of noticing how a lot of the times it's this facade with people that are celebrities, and they kind of can't turn it off. Like, it's always a performance, or it's, you know what I mean? It's this mirage, and I was just kind of like, I don't really want to fall in love with a name, or just because you're famous, or
Sure.
who you are. I just want to, you know, I want to get to know the real person, and